How do Indonesians at home feel about membership of this Board of Peace? Do they feel that the country can afford the $1 billion to join the board?
I think if you ask the public, majority, absolute majority, overwhelming majority would say we can't afford it. Yvonne, this is equal to 50 years of our annual, contribution to the UN. 50 years, and is equal to about 500 times our annual contribution to ASEAN Secretariat. And we've never spent that much money for any international endeavors. Indonesia is just still a developing country. And besides, what if we pull out one day and the money has been given? What happens to the money? It's not a money back guarantee, obviously. So the public, I think, will think negatively about sending $1 billion, which will not be necessarily to Palestine, but to the Board of Peace led by President Trump. And we don't have any information about the governance and accountability of such funds.
Dr. Djalal, you were among a group of former ministers and senior diplomats summoned by President Prabowo to discuss the Board of Peace earlier this month. Now, the inaugural meeting has been held. Do you feel the objectives have been achieved?
President Prabowo has made a point of personally attending the first inaugural meeting of the Board of Peace in D.C. But it is clear that there's a difference in the vision of the members of Board of Peace, including by President Donald Trump. That is Indonesia and other Islamic countries and many countries want this to lead to a two-state solution, to the statehood of Palestine. But that was not entirely clear in the speeches that were made by President Donald Trump or Secretary Rubio, Witkoff, Kushner, and others. So there is definitely a difference of opinion on the direction of this Board of Peace. Yeah.
So does that present a problem then going forward, Indonesia's participation in this Board of Peace?
Well, so far not. We intend to keep pushing along with the other Arab and Islamic states. Indonesia has committed to send as many as 8,000 troops as part of the International Stabilization Force. But in the meeting with the president, I have advice of a number of risks because the Board of Peace has many flaws, and we don't want the Board of Peace to evolve into something that would sideline the UN to become, a Trump privatized multilateral institution, which if you read the charter of the Board of Peace, it has the potential to be that. And during the meeting of the Board of Peace in Washington, D.C., you can see that the role of President Donald Trump was quite dominant. And there were a lot of praises being sung in his direction. And that's not what an international organization should be. It should not be personalized. It should be based on mutual and common objectives and common interests.
So does Indonesia then have an option to pull out if it wants to in the future? What does it gain from being a member of this Board of Peace, and what does it stand to lose?
Well, President Prabowo has made a statement that Indonesia always has that option to withdraw from the Board of Peace. But for now, the only instrument that we see to end the military attacks by IDF into Gaza is the 20-point plan, of which Board of Peace is part. There is no other instrument that is stopping that. So we have a great deal invested in the ceasefire, and we want this to be long-lasting, except that we don't want to aspire to just ceasefire. We want to normalize the life of Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank, and for this to lead to an eventual two-state solution and Palestinian statehood. So that's our interests, and so far, this is the only pathway. Despite the very minimal prospects that this will happen, this is the only pathway by which this would be achieved.
Dr. Dino Patti Djalal, thank you so much for talking to us. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Yvonne.